Hey guys, this is Arm Productions, aka number 4673, and this is Seven Kingdoms, The Princess Problem, Demo Thingy Thingy. Just found this game, looks kinda interesting. It's like the kind of game where you need to, I guess, there's a lot of choices and a lot of different things, and you can shape the main character's personality all you want, and a lot at least. And yeah, I know nothing about it really, but I thought we should check it out. So yeah, let's go. We must begin with a story, a legend. Every fairy tale, even a fairy tale of sorts. Only this story, this legend, is a true one, an important one. For you in particular. One cannot begin until one knows what one has begun after all. 100 years ago, the kingdoms were so soaked in the blood of never-ending war that they were practically died to extinction. One determined princess, Katya of Revere, through pure determination and managed to bring all the young people of the kingdoms together at the mysterious Vale Isle. After several weeks of the young people, having learned more about one another and believing in both Katya and the prospect of peace, refused to return home and war. Instead, the Great Peace was born, and to maintain it, ever since 7 delegates from the delegates from 7 kingdoms are sent to the isle for 7 weeks in order to arrange 7 marriages. Well, that's a lot of sevens. The tradition of the 7 summit was born, and for 100 years it ensured peace. But 100 years is a long time. Time to dull memories of the cost of war and the sacrifices for peace. Katya is no longer alive to steward the plan she created, and the balance of peace has become a thin razor edge. The kingdoms have never been closer to resuming the all-encompassing conflict. Excuse me, someone came to see me. Blah 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 blah, conflict, and they destroyed blah blah blah. The stage is set for a new story, perhaps a new fairy tale, perhaps a new legend, or perhaps a tragedy. It is your story, and it's not written yet. Your story is about to begin. As the game progresses, don't forget to check your page, upper left button, that thing, for detailed information on your stats, character, relationships, and to access your journal notes. Interesting. Check your notes regularly to get updates on the story and more information about how to play the game. You're one of your kingdom's 7 chosen delegates. You have arrived to the mysterious Vale Isle, first by the sea voyage, later by small barges moving through high cliff, heavy mists, and breathtaking scenery. You were escorted by strange silver-eyed servants into a large castle, made in part by great mosaics and colored glass. The surroundings are green and fertile, untouched by civilization. The grounds are covered in carefully planned gardens, filled with beautiful flowers and exotic scents you've never seen or smelt before. The sun shines brightly, and a breeze plays with your hair, and yet it manages to be neither warm nor too chill. The hallways are marble and polished to shine. The furniture plush and practically new. Finally, you're shown into a large room filled with... Shit, what's the cats talking about? Give me a sec. Excuse me. You're shown into a large room filled with every item that you could need. Your escort quickly disappears into the shadow and you're left alone. save a strange young man, wearing a crisp black suit with bright violet eyes, pale skin and hair, so fine and light it reminds you of moonlight. Hello, he's incredibly handsome and filled with so much intensity. He's practically glows with it. All of his intensity and attention are focused intently on you. Ah, you are here at last, my lady. My name is Jasper, and I've been assigned as your personal butler during your stay here at Vale Isle. We have a lot to do, but before we get started, I need to ask you a few questions. Remember, I might be the only person here who is solely interested in serving your interests, so it's important that you trust me enough to be completely honest with me. I can't help you reach your ambitions or cover for your flaws if I don't know what they are. As one of your nation's representatives, you find yourself suddenly thrust into the danger of a dangerous political arena, where the line between peace and open war is thinner than ever. Wealth, power, love, all are now within your reach, if you're smart, talented, or capable enough to grab them. But with great opportunity follows great danger. You have 7 weeks to make your fate, and perhaps the fate of the nations. Yep. At the end of weeks of negotiation, balls, and much behind closed doors dealings, there are 7 weddings. The idea is to ensure peace, trade alliances, and prosperity kingdoms. Yeah, it's cool. The reality is somewhat different, but isn't it always? Will one of the weddings be yours? Will you even survive long enough to find out? Will you be an actor of fate or merely one of its victims? It is now time to find out your story. You have the option of playing this game in 2 modes, challenge mode or story modes. In challenge mode, you will find the game much more difficult and your story may come to an abrupt end. In story mode, both challenges and hosting will be noticeably easier, while you may not succeed in your ultimate goal at the end of the summer. Oh god, I don't know. Why are the cats so noisy? I don't know. I'm pretty sure I'm gonna die. Oh, but I always take the easy way. You know what? Fish it, let's do this. It is no simple coincidence that it is you now sitting in an opulent bedroom being asked surprisingly personal questions by an extremely good-looking butler. Your story, in fact, did not in fact begin here. Let's go back to the beginning, with happy music. When you were born, the people around you could already tell you were special, not just because your parents thought so either. This is because you were an extremely good-looking babe, okay? Your eyes were unusually intelligent. You could already bring people under your spell. Your laugh was extremely endearing. Well, I like the thought of having a nice laugh. It was a laugh for the ages, drawing in everyone who heard it. As a consequence, people were inexplicably fond of you as a baby and have been ever since. As a young child, you had the opportunity to sneak away from your nursemaid for an adventure. Where did you go? You snuck off to town to watch the local festival celebrations, and snuck into the local bardic hall and took a hand at playing the large drums. You borrowed some money from your mother's dresser and made your way to the market day. You were too well behaved to even think of sneaking away. You waited home obediently. That sounds boring. Shut up, cats! I think I want to play drums. The bard whose drums you dirtied wasn't too pleased with you, but the other musicians admired your spirit. It wasn't all fun and games, as for every child of superior birth, your youth was filled with studies. As a child, what was your favorite subject? You loved history. Nothing was as interesting as political studies. Studying warfare and battle tactics was your favorite thing. Math for the sciences, blah blah blah. definitely battle tactics were gonna be badass. You were never allowed to experience the thrill of battle and conquest, but that didn't stop you from reading about it. When you were 10, your carriage was waylaid by bandits. How did you handle yourself? You railed your guards around you, you attacked them armed with nothing but your heavy fan. You figured out how exactly little jewelry they would settle for and bribed them to leave you alone. You managed to talk them into turning on one another. Attack! Impressed by a display of pure guts, the bandits let you and your party go. Wow. By this point, your natural talents were beginning to show. Which tutor was especially pleased with your natural attitude? My speech tutor, my etique. Even though you didn't specialize, also all of your tutors were generally pleased. You may not count as a tutor. My speech. You are practically an I could talk. Some lessons you can only learn outside of the classroom. What were you learning when no one was watching? Things no proper lady should know. Useful things. Theoretical knowledge, all world's good. People watching can teach you sort of a lot of time of nature. I see. Alright, give me a second. I'm taking this noisy cat up because she is noisy as hell. Alright, what? Either this or this, I think. I'm not quite sure. I'm not terribly sure, but I think either this or this. This. Your time was spent learning the ways of plants and animals. Speaking of learning, did you ever learn to defend yourself? Hell yeah! Very true, very true. When you were 12, you came across a wounded veteran begging on the street. How did you respond? Overwhelmed with sympathy, you gave him all your pocket money and thanked him for his service. You gave him a few coins and went away. You ignored him. You know what? We're gonna be the overly nice badass. You always had a kind heart, if consequently empty pockets. At 13, most boys find their female age mates about as tolerable as toes, but your partner asked you to impress your parents to impress the son of an important person, and you succeeded. How? Spoke intelligently on a number of subjects, figure out who the boy's rival was, and managed to embarrass him, challenged him to a duel, stick style. You weren't just any 13-year-old girl. With the right smile and the right words, you chomped the pants off of him. Challenging to a duel. Your guts and bravery won him over, even if your stick fighting skills didn't. Soon after, your lady maid left your service to get married to a much older gentleman. How did you feel about it? That lecherous old goat had already gotten married 6 times. You thought it was obvious she married him for the money. You were happy for her. Must have been true love. You have no opinion on the matter. After all, it's a personal affairs. We're really your business. That's true. Not long after your 14th birthday, you were traveling to your ailing great aunt when you ended up in the middle of an angry mob of desperate peasants. Seeing the quality of your clothes, the mob focused their attention on you. How did you diffuse the situation? You remained calm and listened to their concerns. You used the skills you learned from your dancing instructor to give the mob a slip. You remembering the location of nearby, give them rousing speed and power of taking their fate in their own hands. Seemed good. By the end of your improvised manifesto, the mob has turned into an inspired crowd with puffed chests, ready to defeat the world with nothing more than their willpower and guts. When you were 15, your schedule became so filled. Your parents insisted you only had time to continue studies with one of your tutors. Which subject did you choose? You may well live or die on the... Excuse me for pausing, but I have been gone for hours. I'm really sorry. Suddenly I was dragged into a lot of work. Excuse me. I think I'll go with this one. You were fine with giving up all your tutors. Your time could be spent learning more practical things. Later that year, the most inconvenient thing happened. The stable hand fell in love with you. Now, considering your birth and your future, there was no way you could encourage him. Not to mention, your parents would never have it. You had to discourage his affections. How did you do it? You found a likely mate and encouraged your trusted servants to drop hints about what a good man the stable boy was. You avoided him until he got over his little crush. You told him outright that even if your situation were not so different, you weren't even interested in him, but you... I wouldn't have the courage to do that. That one. Turns out absence doesn't always make the heart grow fonder. It's fortunate that you were able to avoid scandal or any unwanted entanglements, otherwise you would have never made it where you are now. One of your nation's young representatives to the summit. A soft and pointed clearing of the throat brings you wandering back to your new butler. That's right, he asks you a question and is waiting on your answers. Your weaknesses. It's unfortunate, but your greatest weakness is... You aren't very charming, you always stumble over your words. It has to be said, you aren't very good looking. You couldn't lead a lemming up. Okay. You have the personal charisma of a goldfish. You are lily-livered, you give flowers. You are so lily-livered, you give flowers a bad name. Elephants are afraid you will step on them. You're dumber than a bucket of rocks. All doesn't seem good. Let's see. I'm not very charming. I kind of stumble over my words. I am not especially good looking. I don't know what that means. I don't know if I have personal charisma. Elephants are afraid you will step on them. What's that supposed to mean? Right, give me a sec. I'm gonna save and just check out what it's supposed to mean. You're sadly never good at... Okay, so that... Fine. Then let's say... We aren't very charming. Let's say that. We aren't very charming. You never were good at charming people, speaking well, making yourself look presentable, inspiring those around you, facing your fears, dancing or moving gracefully. I think that. As you confess your weaknesses to the stoic-faced butler, you find yourself wondering if you can trust him. It's true that every participant is assigned neutral personal staff upon coming to the isle. In theory, I'm sorry for having something in my mouth, because the lack of political or national involvement will help protect all the participants. But you never had blindly trust people before. Let alone with as much as you're going to need to trust your butler. You might have no choice. With no relatives or servants allowed, you don't have anyone else on your side. How do you feel about being forced to come to some isle and essentially alone? You have preferred it otherwise, but now you're here, you'll adapt. To be honest, you're worried you never had to fend yourself before. You do better when you have people supporting you. Just fine, you're perfectly capable of looking out for yourself without any assistance. Yeah, we're good. Fear not, fair lady, for being chosen is not just downsides, like strange servants and isolation. Indeed, you have put in a position uniquely suited for being the forefront of the international policy and diplomacy, blah blah blah, shaping national events, finding a suitable marriage partner, and perhaps even falling in love. You are capable enough to grasp a great deal of power is at your fingertips. Do you care about accumulating power, wealth, or position? You do not have any grand ambitions, but you wouldn't turn it away either. It's far better to be the one in power than the one under someone else's. You're determined to gather what you can. You have no intention of trying to change your fate. You are satisfied with the things as they are. I won't turn it away either. I think that power does not always corrupt, but what do you do, and what do you do with it matters a great. What do you do with it? Grant as a made deal. Grant as a made deal. If you succeed in gathering prestige and power, how do you use it? Okay, to look out for your own interests and further your ambitions. It's not as if anyone else would do any differently. You don't see any reason why you can't balance serving others with serving yourself. The more power, the more responsibility. You intend to do your best to do what good you can, where you can. After your long discussion, Jasper, still showing no reaction, that you can discern, nods. I see. Very well, my lady. We shall do our best. Just a few more things. First, an introduction. Your butler gives some undetectable signal to two pretty young girls, dressed neatly but plainly as befitting an upper servant, enter the room and dip into graceful curtsies. Jasper nods at them and then turns to you. They are Rhea and Syra, your assigned ladies' maids. You introduce yourself, so do you introduce yourself or wait for your butler to do it for you? You introduce yourself. Friendly. Hello. You greet warmly. I'm very pleased to meet you. I'm choosing that. It's kind of weird calling me Nana, isn't it? Man. I've been thinking about this for a while. I thought maybe I should stop calling myself Nana and actually call myself a name. Okay, so I've gone for like a bit of a tough but strong, not especially graceful or polite girl who is not afraid of fighting, but also thinks of others. I think that's about what I did. So I thought, you know what name would suit that kind of person? Janice? Alright, from now on we're Janice. Achievement unlocked. A novel beginning. Finished creating a character. And who are you? There are 6 possible backgrounds, plus 3 currently unavailable backgrounds. How many have you managed to unlock? A tomboy countess, the daughter of a notorious pirate, more than I appear. I kinda wanna be the... Both are good! I wanna be a pirate daughter, but or maybe that, more than that. Countess Janice of Welland. You grinned at your greetings at the servant, hoping they, unlike your servants at home, wouldn't nag you about the proper way to curtsy. You weren't going to curtsy no matter what they said. They couldn't make you do it. They could count themselves lucky if you consented to go around in a dress. Certainly no servants had succeeded in taming you before. You were an expert at running away from proper nannies and governess. You spent your childhood running barefoot through the mud with your loyal hounds in the stables or fighting duels with sticks. Why did you enjoy these hobbies? Because they were active and... yeah. You might have been happy with your barefoot courtesy lifestyle forever, were it not for the tragic early death of your father. It was not at all normal for titles to pass to female heirs in the Welland, but as your father had sired no other children and there were no suitable male heirs around, even in the dusty closets of distant cousins, you inherited the title and the duties of the new Countess of Holt. Thanks to your new title and all the responsibility that came with it, you were dragged unwillingly into the world of politics and alliances. There were always plenty of ways for ambitious female children to marry into higher rank than that of which they were born. Far fewer were similar opportunities for men. As such, even starting at a young age of 14, when you inherited, you were constantly pursued by second and third sons desperate to marry you and become an earl. Unfortunately, and fortunately as you might have viewed the case, you began to gain quite a reputation. Bad lucks and accidents seemed to happen to any of your suitors who proved persistent. Did you arrange these accidents? Yes, it's not your fault. They needed reminded that no means no. No, they were annoying, but there was no reason around hurting them. True. It was just bad luck then, which makes sense considering your schedule was so unpredictable. There were plenty of things that came with your new title that wasn't new responsibilities and annoying gnat like suites. Heavy social demands, for instance. Despite being labeled helplessly eccentric, your title, lands, and money were enough to ensure you received lots of invitations, as well as hangers-on eager for your approval. Some of these you couldn't refuse. How do you feel about these new social demands? You don't mind? You enjoy talking to people? It was draining. You would far prefer to spend time by yourself. Yeah. When you weren't socializing or avoiding it with the stuffiest members of the local nobility, studying under the eagle eye of your tutors, or escaping to get up to no good whenever you could, you were doing your duty to your people. As a governing lady, which was more important to you? Making sure your people was happy and supported, ensuring that your land justice was served and was fair. I want them to be happy. It was for the sake of your people that you agreed to become a member of the delegation. It was definitely not your idea to prance around perfumed and prettied like a ridiculous mare in front of potential buyers. When you were first approached by the crown, you turned them down flat. It didn't matter to you, as was argued at you in length, that the typical noble girls of Welland were too quiet and well-behaved to suit the outlandish sensibilities of some heathens of the foreign nations. That they hoped your unique character might bring success in alliances where others had failed. 7 weeks of dancing and talking pretty and generally not being able to hit annoying people over the head lest you cause an international incident sounded very akin to torture, and you would have to be stupid to agree to torture willingly. But fate was not by your side. In the wake of several poor harvests and the freak ice storm ruined the entire year's worth of crop. Your people might not make it through the winter. It was when the crown offered a deal. You went to the summit as a member of the Welland delegation, and your people would be taken care of. So one boring sea voyage without any sea monsters in sight later, and you were stuck on Real Island. Don't do that, Nana. Trapped in a castle with nothing to look forward to, but 7 weeks of trying to act and look pretty. Maybe it wasn't too late to throw yourself off a big tower. Barefoot Countess. Made a character with her own background. But enough of your reminiscing. You are here now, and it's your actions in the present, not the past, that are most important to shaping your future. Sensing your renewed attention, your new maid stepped forward, reminding you that you have to attend the welcome feast in less than an hour. They have work to do. Ria, the friendlier maid, is short, slightly plump, with a charming smile and bright red hair that makes her stand out from the pale, silver-eyed servants you've mostly seen thus far. Syra is tall and thin, with pretty dark hair cropped close to her head, intelligent but wary round dark eyes and skin the color of walnut bark. Ria urges you to sit down. When she pulls out a silver-handled hairbrush, she gently starts to work on your very long hair, shoulder-length hair, short hair, very short hair. Short hair. Like, not incredibly short, but short. She smiles at you and warmly compliments you on your light brown, golden, strawberry blonde, dark brown, black, red, another color. Oh my god, how awesome is that? You can choose your hair color. Dark brown. Dark brown, yeah. Silken, perfect curls, natural wave. Yeah, that's... With such pretty hair, I don't think we'll have any problem finding a hairstyle that suits you. Ria smiles at you through the mirror as she arranges your hair with quick, elegant